Trump supporter out during the No Kings protest, and he mentioned that since none of his family sells soybeans, which is one of the biggest exports in the United States, since none of them sell soy, then their farms would be unaffected by what Trump is doing, the negative effects of what Trump is doing. Well, I want you to also remember that Argentina is currently usurping the United States soy market by selling their soy to China because we are in a trade war with China and we are cozying up to Argentina. Now, I tell you this because the other shoe is about to drop. You see, the United States is planning to import Argentina beef to the United States. So not only are we going to allow them to take away the United States profits for our farm industry, but we are also going to be spending money unnecessarily on a product that the Midwest is able to produce in fucking droves already. Let's go ahead and fuck over not one industry, but two industries. Also, Ravi, thank you for redeeming your points for an ada. Now I'm going to see if I can time out a mod. I'm kidding. But so, President Trump's plan to cut record beef prices by importing more meat from Argentina is running into heated opposition from U.S. ranchers who are enjoying rarely profitable years and skepticism from experts who say the president's move probably won't lead to cheaper prices at the grocery store. Yeah, turns out that importing more beef is actually not as inexpensive as simply growing it here and having a shorter supply line. God damn it, all of you. Trace James, thank you for redeeming your points for an ada, you fucking degen. Naki Bree with the with Sylvie with the final There you go. You got all your shit. This is the behavior that led me to start timing people out before. I will do it again. I will fucking do it again. Starting with you. I'm kidding. Fucking Zamian and Trace James with the There you go. Got it all fucking. Why are you guys like this? Everyone all together. No, everyone all together. Consider don't. Could you don't? Zamian, thank you for redeeming your points for an There you go. There you go. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association, along with the Ranchers Cattlemen Association, Legal Fund, Unit Stock Growers of America, and other farming groups, who are normally some of the president's biggest supporters, are all criticizing Trump's idea because of what it could do to American ranchers and feedlot operators. And agricultural economists say that Argentinian beef accounts for such a small slice of beef imports, only about 2%, that even doubling that won't do anything to change our prices at all. Thank you for the hydrate, Zamian. And also, Clueless, thanks you for redeeming your... How do I not have that on a timer? How are you guys able to just redeem that one back and forth over and over again? Fucking balls! Fucking hell! Oh, whoa, fuck off. South Dakota rancher Brett Kenzie said that he wants American consumers to determine whether beef is too expensive, not the government. And so far, there is little sign that consumers are substituting chicken or other proteins for beef in their shopping list. And I see the activity feed, and I am doing everything in my goddamn power to ignore it. I'm doing everything in my power to ignore it. I am seeing so many. Fucking hell. Even though the average price of ground beef hit its highest point ever at $6.32 a pound before the government shutdown began. Y'all, the cheapest cut of beef, or the cheapest cut of meat most people are able to get at the grocery store is ground beef per pound. Now, technically, what I said is untrue. So if we are shopping together, if you and I are at a grocery store, right? Here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now. We're going to do Walmart because that's what most people are going to have access to. Let's do Walmart right now, and let's see what it would look like. Oh, that is disgusting. It just shows me my address there, and I can't turn that the fuck off. Maybe don't. Maybe hide that, Walmart. Give me some option to hide that shit. That's really agitating. That's really agitating. So I can't even show you this because it just shows my fucking address. So you'll have to trust me on prices here. So if I'm looking at ground beef, the cheapest ground beef is going to be a 10-pound log of ground beef. And that ground beef at 73% lean, which is some of the fattiest meat you can get, is currently sitting at about $4.29 a pound. Y'all, 5 years ago, it was $1.99 a pound. Literally half a decade ago, it was less than half. It was less than fucking half of this, which is insane to me. That is insane. Now, there is a reason I said that I technically lied to you about ground beef being the cheapest meat you can get, because there are two kinds of meat that you can get right now. And fuck it, I know what I'm going to have to do. We're going to have to grab this and then save this, throw this here. K-Fox is going to wonder why I just sent her pictures of bologna. But right now, technically, getting a pound of, quote, classic bologna at Walmart, which is an amalgamation of chicken, pork, and beef, that's going to cost you about, for a pound, about $2 after tax. That's going to be your cheapest meat. Now, I'm not saying that because I think the healthy thing is for all of you to either go vegan or start buying bologna, because it's not really the healthiest of meats you could be eating. But for those of you who do eat meat, and ground beef was your staple, Fennec says spam. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. Because I don't think people realize how fucking expensive spam is. I don't think any of you realize how goddamn expensive spam is. I'm sorry. Every single person that has ever thought that spam is affordable has been lying to themselves. Every single one of you. If you think spam is affordable, then you don't buy spam. I fucking promise you. Here, take a look. Take a look. If I would like to buy 2.5 ounces of spam compared to 1 pound of bologna, it costs me the same. Spam is more expensive per pound than ground beef, and ground beef is too fucking expensive. You don't buy spam and you make yourself scarce when your partner eats it. Okay, so again, the people that think that spam is cheap are the people who do not buy spam. And I am not saying that to be insulting, Fennec. I respect you a lot. I recognize that that's the only reason that you would know, that you would or wouldn't know. But people who think spam is inexpensive do not buy spam. If you do not buy meat, if you are not a person who picks up meat, then you do not understand the prices of meat, generally speaking. Spam should be one of the least expensive things you can get, but it is not. Now, you can get something kind of like spam. It is close enough, and it is what my family has always had to try to afford. And I'm trying to find the picture of it right now. But let's see here. Do I spell it that way? Armor. That is what you have to get if you want something to be affordable. Nixie Chan, thank you for the 404-bit, says, if I want spam, I could just check the junk folder of my email. Sylvie, thank you for redeeming your points for an OWO. Axo and Professor Tesla, thank you for redeeming your points for the OWO. Okay. Fennec says there's a brand that makes a vegan faux spam, and my partner thinks it's hilarious. I won't eat that. Look, spam already has an unappealing texture on its own. In no world would I want to then buy a shittier version of that, because I will tell you right now, even the vegan foods I like are shittier versions of meat foods when they are trying to emulate them. Vegan chicken nuggets, shittier chicken nuggets. Vegan burgers, Impossible Burgers, shittier fucking burgers. Vegan hot dogs, shittier fucking hot dogs. Vegan food is done best when it is not trying to emulate meats. Vegan food is done best, for instance, if you are having like a really good chickpea salad, because I've had that before. That shit's great. Or you're having like a really like luxurious curry over rice. That's a delicious vegan meal. Absolutely. Fried tofu's fucking fantastic. There are amazing vegan dishes out there. But vegan or vegetarian versions of meat are never ever it. They always fucking blow ass. And the people who like them confuse the shit out of me. There we go. I found it. This is the less expensive. This is the cheapest you can get spam. And I feel like if you were to get this right here, you would develop a heart condition after a bit. But this is the cheapest version of spam you can get, is Armor Treat. Their Vienna sausages, their potted meat, all of it. That is the cheapest version you can get. And it is not quite Spam. It's much worse, but you can have it. Fennec says there's a dude online trying vegan dishes from various cultures, and it's fascinating to watch. Again, like, you can do vegan dishes and they taste fucking great. Vegan dishes work well when they know what they are. They do not work well when they are trying to emulate a meat. Like, if I do, the closest I can get is like doing, say, a Korean beef and rice dish where I substitute like chunk tofu for the meat that I was going to use. And that will work perfectly fine. That is a vegan dish, and I actually will eat it. I enjoy that. My favorite fucking sushi is a tofu sushi. I adore tofu sushi. That shit is my crack cocaine. In fact, if I could help it, I would be going to order that literally right now. But one, I don't have the money for that, and two, they're fucking closed. The only place near me that sells that, it costs $30 to get the food there, because it's an unlimited food situation. If you've ever been to one of those unlimited sushi places. But anyway, my point is, I said Inari sushi is easy to make. The tofu is sold in cans, but like, that is my favorite. That is my favorite tofu thing of all time. Absolutely. Taryn said, but Suris, I thought you said sushi needed to have raw fish. When have I ever said that? I love tons of cooked sushis. I love crunchy rolls. I love the deep fried rolls. I love tons of raw and also cooked fish sushis. If I said that before, that version of me was incorrect and should be thrown in a wood chipper. Abso-fucking-lutely. That version of me that said that is wrong. Yeah, sushi's the rice. Sushi is the rice. My point is, with all of this, meat is expensive, and the versions of meat that people classically think are cheap are not actually cheap. This is the cheap meat, right here. Bar S brand bologna, sausage, hot dogs. This is the cheap meat. You know this if you have shopped for yourself and you are on a tight budget. I have only had 2 years in my life where I've been able to shop for myself and not be on a tight budget. Ironically, they were both years that I've been a YouTuber. There was 1 year where the channel was making $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and the year afterwards where it was making about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. My channel now makes under $1,000 a month. So yay. But my point is, during those months, that was the only time where I was able to like shop without having to worry about the price of food. Every other year I've been alive, the per pound price of food has mattered a fuck ton. Said Bar S brand, it's the bar minimum. Yeah. My fridge right now, my freezer, has a bunch of frozen bologna and frozen hot dogs. And if memory serves, they're all Bar S brand, because that is the cheapest that you can get. And I don't see the purpose behind spending more money on a hot dog. I don't. So it pisses me off when I find out that our president right now is trying to set a situation up where people who already do not have a lot of money are having to spend more on food, and then the people who are in the business of providing that food also get fucking screwed. Tal says the best way to cook hot dogs is either on a skewer over a flame or in a dry skillet. I'm gonna be honest, I just toss them on the grill. That's what I do. And again, Bar S, that's the brand you go for when you do not have a lot of money. And I think the easiest way to tell if somebody has not actually done financial struggling, the easiest way to tell is to see what hot dogs they buy. Unless they have like a cultural reason to buy something else. But look at what hot dogs they buy. Which ones do they gravitate to and why? Because I promise you, every person who grew up with not a lot of money, they went to the Bar S hot dogs. Because taking cheap cheese, Bar S hot dogs, and potatoes, and mincing up some garlic and just tossing all of that into a lasagna pan makes one of the best fucking meals I have ever had in terms of raw comfort. If the person who is looking around for their food is going for the expensive versions and not the ones where they can stretch every single dollar they can get, shopping with that person feels like a red flag to me. Fennec says my dad buys the all beef ones, the ones that are like $7 a pack. No, if somebody's spending $7 a pack on hot dogs, that person scares me. That person terrifies me, and I wish not to be around that person because I feel like that person will make financial decisions that will then spill onto me and will fuck me over because I work on margins that I'm not super comfy with right now. Said your dad doesn't eat pork for religious reasons, then you get the ones that are made with beef and chicken. Those are also less expensive. Old Gus says broth, dry beans, molasses, ketchup, cut up hot dogs. So you mean pork and beans? You mean pork and beans? Because that's just pork and beans. Pork and beans is good eating. Necrotrod says, I'm glad we're not struggling anymore, but there was a time where my mom took me grocery shopping. I had a full cart and paid less than half of what she did for half a cart, and yet she was criticizing me for spending too much. Yep. Canada says hot dog mac and cheese classic. Oh yeah, no, you go to Aldi, you get the 33 cents a box mac and cheese from Aldi. You use Country Crock as your butter because it's cheaper than actual butter by a country mile. And you use water instead of milk because the milk part makes it more expensive. And then you cut up hot dogs and put them in the mac and cheese. Fucking delicious. Fucking fantastic. Take a couple slices of off-brand Velveeta and put them on top of it to melt into the dish. Because there's never enough cheese in the actual macaroni and cheese. So you get a couple slices of the Velveeta singles, but not the Velveeta singles, because the great value ones cost half as much. Old Gus says beanie weenies, but yes, struggle food is not synonymous with shitty food. Exactly. Necrotrout says Country Crock is unfortunately so terrible for you, though. Right, but do you want to know how often Country Crock has been in my fridge? Every year of my life. Right now, there are 2 different butter emulsions in my fridge that aren't, I think one of them is not Country Crock for the first time in my entire life. It's either Country Crock or Blue Bonnet, whichever one's on sale. Old Gus says, do we need Suris the Struggle Chef segments? Do you need me to show you how to make delicious food for like, I don't know, $4 for multiple people? Like, I can do that. I don't want to, but I can. Nixie Chan says, I grew up with Country Crock. Same. How many times have you reached for Country Crock in the fridge only to find leftovers instead? Never, because I actually have leftover containers and I freeze them because they go longer when I freeze them. I actually have a guest over right now and I made curry the other night and my guest was just like, hey, where'd the curry go? And I just opened up the freezer and like all those containers. That's all the curry. I don't want that food wasted, so that food is frozen. Clueless says, it's a skill I sadly have. It's not a sad skill to have, though. I have 2 friends of mine who are actively asking me to teach them how to cook, to make bulk meals, because they're both in the process of finally leaving their parents' or aunts' places and are wanting to learn how to do life shit. Kaname says, in a rice cooker, 1-2 cups of rice, half a cup of frozen veggies, cut up onion, cut up random meat available, cook, add cheese in the end. Yeah. Species Demeter says, y'all really making me hungry. Look, today I got fancy. Today I made, it was a pound of ground beef, a pound of ground sausage, and all of it got mixed together with rice noodles with a paste that was made of gochujang, black vinegar, and soy sauce. Sidebar, does anybody know a cheap way to get gochujang? Because I keep finding recipes that I want to make that require it, but dear fucking God, that is expensive, and I hate spending gochujang money on gochujang. Fennec says Asian markets. The Asian market here, I mean, I can see how much they're selling gochujang for. In fact, I may be going to the Asian market tomorrow. Sylvie says, so I heard you need money for food. No. So my freezer has plenty of food. Jesus fucking Christ. And then the please laugh. Okay. What was it? Was it JD Vance who had to do the like please clap thing? Naki Bree, thank you for redeeming your points for an oh whoa, you fuckhead. Jesus Christ. Says, what is that? Fermented chili paste? Everything I buy from Asian markets is only in one flavor. That was Bush. Okay. Anyway. Said, I love Make America Great Again rhetoric. I love America First rhetoric, he said. But to me, this feels a lot like the failed policies of the past. The free trade sourcing cheap global goods. Several factors have sent beef prices soaring, starting with continued strong demand, combined with the smallest U.S. herd size since 1961. In part, that small herd is due to years of drought and low cattle prices. Beef imports are down overall because of the 50% tariff imposed on Brazil, which was a beef exporter, and limits on Mexico, where the country is fighting a flesh-eating pest right now. Kansas State University agricultural economist Glenn Tonser said Argentina can't produce enough beef to offset the loss of import. Through July, the United States has imported 72 million pounds of Argentine beef while producing more than 15 billion pounds of beef. Much of what is imported is lean beef trimmings that meat packers mix with fattier beef produced in the United States to produce the varieties of ground beef that domestic consumers want. So any change in import would affect primarily hamburger. Steak prices that were averaging 12.22 per pound probably won't change much. So the prices that will be affected are the cheaper cuts of meat that people need to fucking survive. Are you poor? Fuck you, I guess. Jesus Christ. Khan says, to make gochujang paste, combine glutinous rice flour, Korean red pepper powder, fermented soybean powder, barley malt powder, salt, and then mix with water to achieve the paste consistency. For a quicker version, blend red miso, honey, and gochujang with water and heat it for a few minutes. But see, that's the thing. So gochujang paste is an ingredient that I use in my kitchen. So I like having access to it as an ingredient that I don't have to pre-prepare, personally. Even if increased imports from Argentina will not reduce prices, the idea creates uncertainty for ranchers, making them less likely to invest in raising more cattle. Said we're always going to have uncertainty in the world, but the more uncertain something is, the less likely most are to put money on the line. Argentine livestock producers like Augusto Wallace are excited about the prospect of selling more beef to America because he said, whenever an additional buyer comes, it's beneficial for everyone, right? For all the producers. But economists caution that exporting too much beef could backfire for Argentina because that would drive up prices for the consumers there. American ranchers say the idea of boosting imports from Argentina runs counter to the stated purpose of Trump's tariffs, which were to encourage more domestic production and help American ranchers compete. Said it's a contradiction of what we believed his new course of action was. We thought he was on the right track. Remember, the dude I talked to during the protest specifically liked Trump's tariffs because of how much business they brought back to the United States. And yet, the actual end result of those tariffs have been no. Business is not coming back to the United States. Texas A&M livestock economist David Anderson said ranchers are finally getting prices that are going to make up for some of the really bad years in the past with the drought, low prices, and high costs. We finally get some good prices, and we start talking about government policy to bring down prices. Bryant Kage, part owner of Kage Farms Industry in Missouri, said that he thinks the plan would hurt ranchers. Cattle prices have been averaging around $3,000 for a 1,250-pound animal, slipped more than $100 immediately after Trump mentioned the idea of intervening in beef prices last week. They have recovered a bit since then. So ranchers right now are hoping Trump changes his mind. Although Kage voted for Trump in the last election, he worries the trade war is hurting farmers and ranchers and driving up costs and costing them major markets like China. He says, I continue to see things that I don't really like, and I don't think are in the best interest of our country and the average citizen. I guess I hope he starts to see that and quits worrying about punishing opponents and winning whatever battle he's involved in, and then tries to do whatever's best for everybody. Ranchers are hopeful that Trump will reconsider this plan. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins said Tuesday on CNBC that the administration remains committed to helping ranchers prosper while trying to reduce consumer prices. She promised more details soon about the Argentina plan and a larger effort to reinvigorate the U.S. beef production by opening up more land and opening new processing plants while securing trade deals for new markets. The administration wants ranchers to raise more cattle and produce more beef. The bigger supply, even aligned with bigger demand, is going to allow those prices to come down. But also to have a vital industry for these ranchers to be able to survive, which is what we've got to do, Rollins said. Senator John Hoeven, a North Dakotan Republican, said Tuesday that after talking to Trump and others in the administration, he expected to see more details about the policy. Said it's very important we support our cattle ranchers. Rancher Corey Ike, who lives near Epiphany, South Dakota, said he doesn't consider the Argentina idea a serious threat in the long term and doubts ranchers will make changes to their operation in light of the news. He said nobody's happy about it. Let's put it that way. Personal opinion, I thought it was kind of a ruse when he mentioned it. I mean, it's coming from Trump, so take everything with a grain of salt. He thinks that Trump saying that he's gonna have beef come in from Argentina is a ruse. They'll do anything Some Trump supporters will do anything to pretend that Trump is eternally on their side. But again, remember, one of the things that Trump supporters are really happy about is the tariffs because they are supposed to bring business back to the United States. But that is not what they've done. All they've done is fuck up our alliances with trade partners and made our ability to export goods drastically get knee-fucked. Kanemakan, the Alpha, says this is why it was the hammer and the sickle. Yeah, workers of the world unite. We're all getting fucked right now. Great, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Sereth, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.